gasp of surprise, they all craned forward, staring at the line of jungle facing the white-framed buildings of the town. The long arc of trees hanging over the water seemed to drip and glitter with myriads of prisms, the trunks and branches sheathed by bars of yellow and carmine light that bled away across the surface of the water, as if the whole scene were being reproduced by some overactive Technicolor process. The entire length of the opposite shore glittered with this blurred kaleidoscope, the overlapping bands of color increasing the density of the vegetation so that it was impossible to see more than a few feet between the front line of trunks. The sky was clear and motionless, the sunlight shining uninterruptedly upon this magnetic shore, but now and then a stir of wind crossed the water, and the scene erupted into cascades of color that rippled away into the air around them. Then the coruscation subsided, and the images of the individual trees reappeared, each sheathed in its armor of light, foliage glowing as if loaded with deliquescing jewels. But what most surprised me, Paul, was the extent to which I was prepared for the transformation of the forest. The crystalline trees hanging like icons in those luminous caverns, the jeweled casements of the leaves overhead fused into a lattice of prisms through which the sun shone in 1,000 rainbows, the birds and crocodiles frozen into grotesque postures like heraldic beasts carved from jade and quartz. What was really remarkable was the extent to which I accepted all these wonders as part of the natural order of things, part of the inward pattern of the universe. True, to begin with, I was as startled as everyone else making his first journey up the Matara River to Mont Royal. But after the initial impact of the forest, a surprise more visual than anything else, I quickly came to understand it, knowing that its hazards were a small price to pay for its illumination of my life. Indeed, the rest of the world seemed drab and inert by contrast, a faded reflection of this bright image, forming a grey penumbral zone like some half-abandoned purgatory. All this, my dear Paul, the very absence of surprise, confirms my belief that this illuminated forest in some way reflects an earlier period of our lives, perhaps an archaic memory we are born with of some ancestral paradise where the unity of time and space is the signature of every leaf and flower. It's obvious to everyone now that in the forest life and death have a different meaning from that in our ordinary lackluster world. Here we have always associated movement with life and the passage of time. But from my experience within the forest near